everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube and Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channels. Welcome to those of you who are new here to Pro Wrestling Logic. We've got nearly 2,200 of these available for your listening pleasure. We continue to bring you the best in wrestling content, both old school and the newer school stuff. Obviously, the old school is where my preference lies. We continue the 1993 edition of the Wrestling Challenge Review Series here. The 18th of the month of July is our foray this time. We will have the last Raw of 2021 up tonight, and I think there's an AEW Dark tonight. I don't honestly know. Anyway, but as we continue to move forward into 2022, interesting time to be a wrestling fan. I don't know if I'd say good time, bad time, but an interesting time to say the very least. There is some good wrestling. I know a lot of people say there's a lot of good wrestling. I don't see a lot. I see some in 2022, but I would much rather watch squash matches from the 90s than most of the stuff that they put out on national television today. Just because at least there's a point to what's being done with the old stuff. Anyway, as we go forward, kind of a continuation of the build towards SummerSlam 93. Lex Luger just a couple of weeks ago had, in fact, slammed a good old Yokozuna and hip-checked him. Kind of continuation of the Smoking Guns match from the previous week. Kind of the six-man and all of that, and first time they'd done a continuation there. Obviously, the Guns managing to get a victory, as it were, and a leaping power slam. And I don't know that running a match 2 weeks in a row, or kind of in a doubles situation like that, is 100% smart. I don't know that the average thing would continue there, but again, continues forward. Doink the Clown is here. He's taking on Kevin Hamilton. Whoopee cushion victory for him here. Obviously, Doink the Clown at this point still a major force in the area and continuing to be exactly that. And when you have that kind of a situation and you have that kind of a run, it's certainly interesting to kind of move forward. Lord Alfred Hayes also continuing the call to action campaign. Lex Luger talking about going into the win and the Lex Express thing. The Lex Express, they really did try to get Luger over, and he was going across the country at the time, trying to get people to care about him moving towards having a match with Yokozuna. I don't know that it ever worked the way that they planned for that to work. And Doink's match is pretty basic. He does hit a German suplex, which for the time in the States, German suplexes, other than the Steiner brothers, you certainly weren't seeing them in the WWF before 1993. And so just that, and the whoopee cushion bombs away maneuver by Doink. Obviously Doink a very one-sided, still continuing his foray with Crush in the in that area. And so we go to hype for the upcoming Nassau Coliseum, held inside a steel cage. Yokozuna, Bret Hart, also six-person tag team match. Shawn Michaels, Diesel, and Bam Bam Bigelow facing with Lynn Vachon facing off against Marty Jannetty, Kurt Hennig, and Tatanka. Interesting match there, trying to get the rub for Tatanka. I think still post WrestleMania 9, they still might have had some thought that he was going to be bigger than he ended up being. I don't really know what the deal was there. Then we go to a Mr. Hughes match. Mr. Hughes here in 19 and 93 has stolen the Undertaker's urn, still continues to bring the urn out with him. Pretty basic deal there, with Mr. Hughes being a guy who is there. They bring him out with a match with Marty Jannetty, probably, certainly for the time, one of the best matches that Hughes had. I liked his WCW run, but this match with Marty really shows that Marty, had he stayed on the up and up and healthy and mentally healthy and emotionally healthy and all that, would have been a good thing. Tries to get a leg pick, doesn't necessarily get what he wants there. And Hughes beats him down for a little bit. Marty Jannetty, though, gets several minutes out of Mr. Hughes in ways that many people probably couldn't have, to be completely transparently honest there, and continuing to do that. It seems to be something Marty is quite focused upon. Then we kind of get a run through from Jannetty, and ultimately, kind of, Hughes tries to test strength. Jannetty off the ropes. This actually is a match worth going out of your way to see from this particular syndicated program. I don't normally say that, but able to say it here, as that is a pretty amazing run at the time. Harvey Whippleman, though, does eventually lead his man, Mr. Hughes, to some semblance of attempted victory. They run the match through the commercial break. Jannetty manages to slide out of the way with a brawl on the floor. Big vertical suplex by Hughes along the way there, and while he doesn't get everything he wants out of things, he certainly does get a good bit of some aggression out of the way there. Hughes flips his man over, doesn't necessarily get, like I said, everything he wants, but manages to continue the assault and a bit of a brawl. Longer match for this time frame in the area, and I don't know if this is like like a sweepstakes week or what it is, but Jannetty brawls with Hughes on the outside of the ring, goes after Harvey Whippleman, dives on him, and ultimately we get Jannetty going to the top rope, trying to get a victory, and Hughes spins around, catches him with a power slam, and off the top, and away we go. One of the better matches in Wrestling Challenge at the time. Might be the best match on the show in 1993. I can't think of another one, having watched most of 1993. Having watched it, can't think of another one. But the SummerSlam report, obviously we go to Jerry Lawler and Bret Hart. That match has been signed, which actually leads into the Jerry Lawler having Owen Hart on the King's Court later in the day, and ultimately, obviously, the Lex Luger thing, still managing their highlights of Luger taking out Crush and completely assaulting him there. The King's Court, Jerry Lawler makes fun of Helen and Stu Hart, kind of trying to get under Owen's skin. Owen finally stands up for his family. Owen certainly not a good promo here in 1993. Very good in the ring and becomes much better over the next little while. But Owen, a very awkward babyface. Lawler is tremendous here, so worth going out of your way to check out this segment if you like old school Jerry Lawler, or if you just like to see the build of Owen Hart trying to stand up for the family, and then kind of already seeds of feeling in Bret's shadow. You can see it ever so much, the need to stand up for the family so vehemently, and then it not coming together for him. So we go to another in the series of enhancement matches here. Shawn Michaels with, of course, bodyguard Diesel. Diesel joining Michaels a couple of months, or about a month and a half before, something like that. And that continues to be a thing. Michaels takes on an enhancement talent here, and of course, back and forth with the Intercontinental Championship, with Michaels, of course, being the Intercontinental Champion because, well, just is what it is. Anyway, Shawn Michaels defeating Chris Hahn with a pile driver. The pile driver becoming Michaels' main move here. It's certainly an interesting deal there. In any event, Michaels hits, doesn't hit the back suplex like he had been using, opting for the pile driver instead, and we move forward into the next in the series. We'll be back with more right after this.